Gardner says that, different types of intelligence is going to work together to come up with a solution to the problem. Fine. So yes, every intelligence is independent of one another, all right? And all types of intelligence, है ना? Different types of intelligence will work together to basically come up with a solution to whatever problem you have, all right? Now, he has described various kinds of intelligence, fine. So, we will be taking a look at the various kinds of intelligence, okay? So, chili, let's understand the types of intelligence that he is talking about, okay? तो पहला कौन सा है? The first one that we have is linguistic. So linguistic means what, guys? It is related with language, all right? So what is your linguistic intelligence? It is the ability to produce and use language very flexibly, very fluently, and the language should be such, your command over the language should be such that you're able to express yourself, all right? You're able to do what? You're able to express oneself. You're able to express your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. People who are usually smart in this field, they are described as word smart. Fine. And I think iska sabse acha example, the best example I can give you is Shashi Tharoor, isn't it? I'm sure you would have seen that when Shashi Tharoor goes to meet Donald Trump, right? So there was this meme going on that Donald Trump has actually hired English to English translator. Why? Because such is the language competency of Shashi Tharoor, isn't it? He is such competent person as far as linguistics are concerned. Fine? All right. Then after this, we have logical and mathematical. So what is logical and mathematical here? So it is basically the ability to think logically and critically in a situation. Fine. See, the number of individuals who take decisions very emotionally, like I do. Fine. I take all emotional decisions and then later on sometimes I regret it as well. Fine. But these are people who are very logical in every situation, right? They have a list of pros and cons and they're able to think logically and analytically. Okay? So like physicists, you can say, okay? Physicists or mathematicians, they have a very logical and analytical brain. So they would be able to pinpoint the logical relationships. So for example, when you give your CUET examination, you have your paper 1. In that paper 1, you have logical reasoning, right? So this is where it comes in handy. Your logical and mathematical skill comes in handy over here. Okay? After this, we have spatial. Spatial is something I had explained to you in the last class itself. After this, we have musical. I'd already explained spatial, so I'm not getting into it once again. We also have something called musical. Fine. What is musical? It is the ability to produce and manipulate musical rhythms and patterns. I think best example of this could be A.R. Rahman, or you can see Arijit Singh, isn't it? So, they have this capacity to produce musical patterns, है ना? मतलब simple lines and simple words can be put into music. Right? Simple lines and simple words are put into music and they make so much more sense and they make you feel so much more pleasurable, isn't it? Like there's a simple song, आज से तेरी सारी गलियां मेरी हो गई, आज से तेरे बिजली का बिल मेरा हो गया. So, it's such a simple line, right? that okay, from now on I'll be paying your electricity bills. But when you put it in a song and you feel that, oh my god, you've gotten something, I think A.R. Rahman is a very good example of this. I'm sure you've heard the song Chaiya Chaiya, isn't it? The words, the poetry, the music that he has used. Fine. So that is what your musical intelligence is. Fine. Then you have something called bodily kinesthetic. Okay. What is bodily kinesthetic? To be able to use your body or portions of your body flexibly and creatively. All right. So generally you would see that there are dancers, gymnasts, etc., surgeons, sport person, they're able to use their bodies very effectively, right? So there's this particular reel which I saw regarding Virat Kohli, and you know, when people like talk about his flexibility, they talk about his fitness. Okay, so what I saw, it's a very interesting shot actually that he plays. So he's standing in the crease and he's playing, all right. He वो shot मारते हैं, he puts in the shot, the person right in front of him, the batsman, starts running. Okay, but then he sees that the ball is not very far. It is actually in the hand of the person who's sitting, like who's right next to him. So you know what, instead of running like this, okay, so he does not put his leg forward, all right, he does like 180-degree split, all right, and he has this, you know, he has his one leg back towards the crease. Okay, he's looking in front, he has his back, he has his leg at the back. So this is what is known as your bodily kinesthetic, because you're able to do so much with your body, you're able to represent through your bodies, isn't it? Dancers can be a very good example, right? You've seen that they can tell you whole stories through what? Just through dances, isn't it? So that is also bodily kinesthetic. Fine. So that is what we are talking about. Okay. Then you have something called interpersonal. Okay. What is interpersonal, guys? Interpersonal means the ability to understand one's own, the ability to understand others' feelings and actions and emotions. Okay, just a second. Okay, so what is interpersonal? It is the ability to understand one's own emotions, ability to understand other person's emotions, thoughts, feelings and actions. Okay, so when you are able to do that, fine, that is known as interpersonal. The ability to understand other person's emotions, their motives, their consciousness, their psychology, etc. So that is known as your interpersonal. So when you're able to, just in very simple terms, when you're able to understand the other person, when you're able to understand the second person, the person who you're talking to, I don't know how many of you have seen this and how many of you have people like this in your life, but if you have them, you're really lucky. There are so many people who just by your text, all right, or the way you text, they will be able to tell you, right? They will be able to tell you that something is wrong with you or your mood is off, right? Just by the way you text, right? That is known as your interpersonal, fine? Then we have intrapersonal, okay? What is intrapersonal? Intrapersonal basically means the ability to understand our own feeling, like your own feeling, okay? So this basically refers to the knowledge that you have about your internal abilities, about your internal sensibilities, about your internal feelings, thoughts, actions. Fine. See guys, it's not always necessary that we recognize our emotions, right? Or that we understand our emotions, okay? Sometimes we can get confused as well. We can sometimes confuse our emotions as well. There are times when we're feeling hurt, but then we show it in the form of anger. There are times when we are feeling anger, but it comes out in the form of hurt. I don't know how many of you people face this. I do. When I get really angry, I start crying. So many people think that I'm hurt, but actually I'm just angry with them. Okay? But it's just me, it's just how I am. I start crying. Okay? So you should know, when you have clarity about what you are thinking, about what you are feeling, that is known as your intrapersonal. Fine?
अब एग्जाम की तैयारी को और बेहतर करने के लिए हमारे चैनल को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें।